Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. World War III update, kinda crack here, just on heavy duty country. We've got a bit of Jimmy Dore show here. Um, this is a bit weird. I'll play this at the end. And Iran sinks two SU oil tankers near Iraq waters, Strait of Hormuz. Shipping stops after attack. So again, I maintain. I mean, this is kind of proof of it. Jimmy Dore, how I mentioned this in a video yesterday from a guy who mentioned that America were blind in the Middle East and the radars had been took out by drones that ultimately can't be seen by the technology because they've gone back to basics here and used like plywood, as it says here. And they can't be picked up on the drone, the radar, so they're just flying right in there and destroying. I mean, this is possibly what's happened to the oil tankers as well here. So, yeah, a couple of things there. We've got the oil tankers being sank. We've got how the Iron Dome is not working properly due to using plywood drones here. Again, all the radars have been taken out. So, I mean, I think that information was correct. He did show us the satellite photos of the damage. But also here we have now Jimmy Dore explaining why exactly that's happened, because they're using drones that can't be spotted by radar. They've actually outthought the Americans and went back to basics here. Not that the Americans and the mainstream media would ever like to admit that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, another thing here as well on an heavy duty country, the bombing of the school in Iran. Again, people think it's either Israel or America's bombed the school, killed girls, children. I mean, it doesn't shock me that this is what I mean. Like, America's going to defend it, so is Israel, obviously. But Israel blew the shit out of Gaza, and fuck knows how many kids they killed there. These people do not care about blowing people up with missiles. Again, they're all Satanists as well. That's a factor. But they don't give a fuck about blowing up innocent people with missiles. They do not care. They have to act like they care, because you have like the rules of war, so to speak. But there is no rules to war in reality. But we pretend there is. War is war. It's total annihilation of the other side. So you can pretend there's rules to war, but really, when you're in the midst of war, there isn't really any rules. But there kind of is, if you know what I mean. It's the Geneva Convention, possibly. Yeah, we pretend there's rules to war, but when the war gets going here, you know what I mean? Did the Nazis give a fuck about any of the rules of war? You know what I mean? It doesn't go down like that. It's all bullshit. You know what I mean? The rules of war. There is no rules to war here. The only rule is win, right? By any means necessary. Again, the Nazis, do they look like they had rules to war here? So yeah, you can spout all that bollocks if you want, but really, in reality, you play to win. You know what I mean? You play to win. So America will, and so will Israel, very much blow up and kill children. Obviously, they'll deny it in the aftermath. But it's been done before. It'll be done again. Yeah, and apparently they hit this school twice, like 25 minutes later. So they've done this before. Israel have done it when people have come to help and sift through the rubble. They've hit the people trying to help. So again, the first casualty of war is truth. You know what I mean? So you get propaganda left, right, and centre. But I mean, the reality is the missile is an American slash Israeli missile. It's a Tomahawk, so it's not really possessed by Iran. Is one factor here. So I don't know. This is the rumor. I will play the video. Then we'll move on to how the drones are doing the damage here. Because for me, and again, when we've got two tankers sunk as well here, U.S. tankers. So it looks very much to me like America isn't winning this war. Like, from what we're seeing, again, American tankers on fire here. We've got fucking the drones taking out the radars. It very much looks like America isn't winning this war. But mainstream media is peddling Trump's peddling that they are, you know what I mean? But that wouldn't surprise me, because here he's a narcissist and he would never admit he's being beat. And neither would the mainstream media. And it's all kind of part of the show in as well, in a way. We kind of think we're winning, and then it all goes to shit here, like when Russia and China step into the fray, is kind of what's going to happen. So yeah, it's a false sense of security, and again, all these Americans who think, like, again, Osmond Gold's one, like, thinks Americans untouchable here. Do you know what I mean? A lot of Americans do, because they've kind of never been touched, but they've never been come up against by China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran before. This has never happened. So they may look invincible now, but well, it's going to be a real long year. That's for sure. A real long year. So let's just have a listen to this, see where we are.
The Iran war is getting pretty wild, to say the least, and I think it's going to last longer than 10 days, 11 days. I don't know what day we're on. I think probably 12. But there's been some interesting things that have happened, particularly bombing a school in Iran. Okay? So there are a lot of people out there who are like, oh, we don't care because they're going to grow up to be terrorists. If you believe that, you're fucking nuts. You're a sick person, and my God, help your soul. These are innocent kids. It's a fucking school. It's no different than a hospital. Somebody tell Israel that.
The bombing of a girls' school next to an Iranian naval base that was apparently the school of choice for officers at the naval base. These were the children, the daughters of the people we're fighting. You have to believe that was accidental, despite the fact it was hit twice, 40 minutes apart. It looks very much like a double tap, which is to say a bombing and then an attack on the people coming to rescue the injured. But as an American, you have to believe this was a tragic mistake. But we have to verify that, because if you wake up in the morning and you're living in the kind of country that thinks it's okay to kill not simply military officers, but their daughters, that country's not worth fighting for.
Okay, so does anybody remember something similar to this? Because there was almost an exact same scenario that happened in Gaza. There was a building bombed with a bunch of innocent people in it that was hit by Israel. And then 20 minutes later, or around there, it was hit again. That's a problem. It's a problem, and we need some level of explanation on it. So here's the video. And jeez. So it looks pretty targeted to me. There's not a lot of smoke around everywhere else. And this is a photo of it. And there is a lot of speculation on what kind of missile this is. A lot of people are saying this is a Tomahawk, which is American. And if you didn't know, America sells these mainly to NATO countries. But the question becomes, right, is it us? Is it Israel? Because Israel has them. Who would have done it? Because I find it very hard to believe that Iran is bombing themselves, right? I mean, it just wouldn't make sense. If they were going to do that, they would have done it, I don't know, weeks, months, years before the war started. One could assume. So here is Trump's answer when he's asked about it.
President, you just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a Tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation, but Tomahawks are used by others, as you know.
I mean, he's a lying bastard. Like, he's a politician. You know what I mean? How do we know he's lying? His mouth's moving. So, yeah, I mean, you can't trust this man, honestly. I was very, very weary about him for a very long time. And then I kind of come on board for a little bit. A bit when he got shot in the ear, I think. But I kind of think that's bollocks as well now, to be honest. I came on board slightly for a while there, but I'm weary of everybody, you know what I mean? I don't really, if they're in the game, I don't really trust Tommy Robinson, to be honest. Again, Tommy Robinson, for me, I kind of trusted Tommy Robinson right up until he went to Israel. When he went to Israel, I started asking questions, to be honest. You've got to remember that the Israel of today is not the Israel of the Bible, right? That's that they're not the Israel of the Bible here. So yeah, you can say that. Well, say what you want, but this Israel is not the Israel of the Bible. So it's all a load of bollocks. In to be honest, we're being lied to on all sides here, and if in reality, I mean, we invaded Afghanistan, we invaded Iraq, we destroyed Libya and took out Gaddafi. We go around the world, blown the shit out of everybody, like the West in general, not specifically the UK, I suppose. But we do help, I suppose, most of the time. We did in Iraq and Afghanistan there. I'm sure we'll come into this. We've sent the dragon. So, again, the dragon, would you believe it? So, it's all a load of bollocks. Again, there's no. I was for Israel, again, massively for Israel, especially October the 7th. But even then, that October the 7th, from like the whole world's a stage here. That's the problem we've got. The world's a stage, and ultimately we're being pushed towards the Third World War. I don't think it'll be much longer before conscription's mentioned. I mean, it won't be imminent, it'll be months away, I would imagine, but conscription's coming. Absolutely, conscription is coming. So, yeah, it all just seems like a show, all of it for me. Again, it's all. The October the 7th could have been a bit of a lie. Perhaps Israel had a hand in attacking themselves in a false flag scenario. I don't know for definite, but it's not far fetched. With what we know of Israel and Mossad, do you know what I mean? It's just not far fetched at all. Again, it's not far fetched that this is America bombing a school. Like it's we pretend it's all liberty and democracy out here, but as you can tell by Britain in this current state of affairs here, this isn't liberty and democracy anymore here. You know what I mean? So America's just keeping up that bullshit angle, right up until they get blown up in World War III here, and it's the end of liberty and democracy. Again, we're being took out by the back door here and handed over to the Muslims, it would seem. So, yeah, it just for me, it's not far fetched. None of this. The world's a stage. We're being bullshitted to the back end of next week by everybody. I mean, the Ukrainian Prime Minister, or whatever the fuck you call him, Zelensky, he's an actor. You know what I mean? He's literally an actor. So Trump's been in countless films. You know what I mean? WWE as well. Trump's a bit of an actor. Many films. Home Alone he was in. And there's another one. So all right, we've got an actor in the American presidency. We've got an actor in Ukraine there. So we've got a shit show in Britain with Starmer. But he's just acting as well. He's doing a great job for the people he works for, not us. He's doing a great job. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, again, no real proof. The proofs make your mind up, I suppose. It was a Tomahawk missile, which is primarily a Western weapon. If America make them, it's primarily America that got them. They sell them to NATO countries, as he said. So, yeah, somebody's blew up a school, but I don't know why that would shock anybody, because war is war. It really is. Like, there is no rules to war. We pretend there is, but there isn't. There's no rules to war. It's win by any means necessary is kind of the rules to war. So, yeah, that's that kind of covered. The school got blew up by a Tomahawk missile by the looks of it, and people are blaming America or Israel, but it probably was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not about picking sides here. I'm not about left or right. I'm not about fucking. I'm just about the truth. You know what I mean? If America bombed the school, then America bombed the school. Let's just call a spade here. You know what I mean? If they didn't, then they didn't. But it makes no real difference to me. I just want to know the truth of the matter. Again, I condemn whoever done it, and I'm just not. I'm not blinded enough to just think, oh no, America would never do that. Do you know what I mean? A load of bollocks. America would do that. So we'll move on anyway. Is how America's getting done in, basically.
missile defense systems with paper airplanes, basically.
That's what balsa wood is. It's one notch, and I don't even give it that much above a paper airplane.
So you're saying that we could launch all the social media influencers who support the war and radar wouldn't pick them up because of their wooden performances on camera? I got a couple of videos I'm going to show you about how the Iran has decided to overwhelm our billions and billions and billions of dollars we'd put into anti-missile technology. So the whole idea of the Iron Dome that we've been billions of dollars around Israel, it's supposed to be able, so you can't shoot a missile into Israel because they have anti-missile missiles that will shoot down your missile or your rocket or your bomb. But they actually did beat it, and they went low tech. Here's how Iran beat our billions and billions of dollars trying to stop them from bombing Israel. Here's how they did it.
How did Iran actually bypass the Iron Dome using wooden stealth drones? The advanced defense system is perfectly tuned to track fast, heavy metal rockets. Powerful radars easily spot steel casings and highly reflective electronic parts. To bypass this shield, engineers completely abandoned modern military materials. They built a new swarm of kamikaze drones almost entirely out of balsa wood. Wood and thin fiberglass absorb radar waves instead of bouncing them back. Instead of hot engines, they use tiny electric motors with zero heat signature. The drones were programmed to fly at extreme low altitudes, hugging the terrain. The dome's smart sensors simply filtered them out as flocks of birds or static noise. The AI didn't trigger interceptors until the wooden swarm was already diving in. In 2026, the world's smartest shield was pierced by the most primitive technology. How did Iran...
Boom. So there you go. Again, they've just used balsa wood and it doesn't show up on the radar. So this is probably why all them radars have been destroyed, like Lado was saying yesterday or the day before when I made the video. He kind of did show us the aerial footage of the destruction. But yeah, this is how they're doing it because, as it says there, the dome, again, high-tech missiles, metal, that stuff that shows up on radar. But make it a balsa wood and without thought use. So yeah, again, it kind of goes as well. America isn't winning this war. Like they're lying to us about it was winning, and again, but I think that's part of the show because again, it's to lure people into a false sense of security, and then it's all going to go to real bagwash here, probably in the summer, as we know there. So I'll get to that at the end. Remember to mention that. It's a bit weird. So here we are, US oil tankers in Iraq blown up. Play a bit of this. So yet again, Donald Trump saying the Strait of Hormuz is open and all this kind of crack, and it doesn't look open to me. You're going to get blown up and your ship's fucking sank in the middle of the fucking thing here. So yeah, again, America saying one thing and is footage kind of showing you that the Strait of Hormuz is not open, or it is open if you want to get your ship fucking blown up and sank. You know what I mean?
Two massive oil tankers engulfed in flames in the Persian Gulf. Thick black smoke rising hundreds of meters into the sky, visible from the Iraqi coastline. And now, the big question. Is this the latest escalation in the growing US-Israel-Iran war? Because what happened near Iraq's ports this week could shake global oil supply. Main story. On March 11th, 12th, 2026, two foreign oil tankers carrying...
Could shake global oil supply. It already has. I think fucking diesels went up 30 pence a fucking litre there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's going to get real bad. Again, by 2030, we'll own nothing and be happy. Well, this and the fucked economies are very much why you're going to own nothing by 2030 and be happy here. If you manage to stay alive, that's another part of it. If you manage to stay alive during World War III here. Yeah, bunker down, build a bunker. Again, there's another crack. All these fucking elites building bunkers, left, right, and centre. Absolutely loads of them. Like, I wonder what's coming. You only got two options really: World War Three or Nibiru, and both catastrophic, to be honest. But this is where we are. Again, it's kind of, I blame the zombies personally. If we'd have all woken up and took down the Epstein file, paedophile, satanic elite here, we wouldn't be in the shit. But we didn't bother to do that, so we are in the shit here. So what do you expect? So that's two tankers gone. Moving on, I'll just mention this at the end here, and I don't know who this guy is. It says, look up what happened to this man after he secretly recorded the inside of this underground city. It's not the best footage, but yeah, he's in this massive underground area, absolutely massive. And he's talking about there being loads of them and like transport and stuff underground and all this, again, underground bases. So I don't know who he is to look into what happened to him. It says, look up what happened to this man after he secretly recorded the inside of the underground city. But I don't know who he is to look into him. But I am curious. What did I mean, he'd be dead. Obviously, he'd be absolutely dead. There's no two ways about it. But yeah, I don't know who he is to find out exactly how he died. Is more a better way of putting it. So I'll just have a listen to this and see if you can sort of look and see the size of this underground base area.
And here's the truck I've been driving for the last few days.
The music will do me in. It's on a short, so you can get away with it on a short. So you'll just have to read the words. He works for Wilson Logistics. This is his trailer. He's been driving for Kraft, who own fucking everything, another part of the global agenda. Yeah, he's in this, look at this underground area he's in here. Absolutely fucking massive. Make fucking trucks for days in here. And apparently this connects to other places as well. Like, again, I mean, this isn't well known. Again, has anybody else seen these massive underground structures before in kind of so much detail? And I think the story is he's been killed basically for explaining to people that all this exists in underground. Is the theory I'm going with. Again, it says, look what happened to this guy after he told you about this. And again, you're not really supposed to know about these places and how big they are and what's going on underneath here. Again, there's been claims that like they've been stocking these places, like you wouldn't believe, there's like cities underneath the ground here, and they've been stocking it with food for years. Is kind of the scenario. Trucks like this have been delivering food for years to these places, underground cities. So you're kind of keeping it quiet, yeah. Again, did you know there was underground cities? We've been stocking for food for years, like over a decade. And the answer is probably no. So, and this could be like one of the entrances to these places, but yeah, I don't know who he is, but I would imagine he's dead. But it'd be interesting to know how he died exactly. But it just says look up what happened to this man, but it doesn't tell you who the fucking man is. Do you know what I mean? So I just like giving a mention anyway, but he's probably dead for exposing this massive underground facility here. I'll leave it there anyway, peace.